Hello guys, it's me, Stark, and this is the Pre-Lumbercamp Drush. That's a Dark Age rush that you can perform with any civilization, and you can actually hit your opponent by the time he's making like his villager of number 13, 14. It's very early stage here of the game, and because of that it's very difficult to defend against, so at least some damage you are gonna cause. You might force this guy to make loom, you might force this guy to lose villagers, you might deny this guy from taking the wood from his own lumber camp, so that's a very popular strategy. Why am I recording that, and why is it so new? Why is it so uncommon to see even on ranked games? Because the counter to it is quite simple. If you see that your opponent is going for this kind of drush, all that you have to do is to wall your resources and you are going to be fine. But there's something very specific that happened in the past few weeks. There was a map named Rocky Forest that was being played on a qualifier of a big tournament, a big LAN event from China, and on this map you couldn't make walls on this area between the lumber camp and the forest. There was a small tile here that couldn't be walled, and for that reason, my friends, players ended up exploring this strategy a lot more, especially with civilizations such as the Goth, such as the Inca, that have discount on their militia line or have other crazy good discounts. Other civs could also perform this quite well. Let's talk about, for example, the Malians that have some discount on the buildings, the Japanese. I'm, for example, doing it right now with the Celts. I think the Celts are great for it because my militia line is actually a bit faster, especially during feudal age. And there he goes, 2 villagers on the stagglers, and we go here to drop a barracks. I'm already sending villagers there to eat the boar. Really good. And I think that I found all of my resources, so I need to hurry up there and find my opponent. I think that even if you try to execute this build on a deer map, my friend, you do not want to waste your time here. You want to go there and find your opponent. This villager is going to buy a house and go back towards the staggler. As soon as we can, we're going to go towards the next boar. And the idea here is quite simple. The barracks up, we start making militias. The barracks up, start making militias. The opponent's around here, so it's more a matter of finding our target now. Two militias already on the way. Made a house. Gonna send now one villager towards the gold, guys. The reason I need this villager on the gold is so that I can keep making militias, and whenever I want to make the loom, I can do it. So that's the idea. I found the enemy mill, I'm sending my militias forward, it's not even 5 minutes and I'm already there, ready to deliver the damage. Sending back more villagers here to the stagglers. With 11 villagers, you can keep the production of both villagers and militias. So it's more a matter of executing here all the hunting process here that are necessary for your eco to keep flowing. Not so easy, to be honest. I'm also paying attention not to get housed here. Making militias non-stop, and of course, right now, we need to hurt that guy. We need to go there, try to kill a villager. This is very important for this build to work. Usually on competitive games, it's very common that your opponents skip loom. So the chances of killing these initial 1 or 2 villagers are very high, and it's very necessary that you try and use it. After you have done the initial damage, you can go there and kill his buildings like the lumber camp, or aim into a house or go towards the next target. But this is the time window that you have to actually deliver damage. After some time, you won't be able to do that. What am I going to do at my home? I'm going now to send villagers towards the chicken. I'm going to start to diversify my production. I can place, for example, a mill here on the chickens, but I need to keep using the stagglers, guys, because at some point I need to also build my lumber camp. Remember, I did a lot of sacrifices for this strategy to work. Despite having like a big group of militias there, I'm not yet even close to getting to the feudal age. So the biggest challenge here is to do this while not idling or not screwing up your own economy. Let's send more villagers here to the chicken. So I'm trying to diversify my food sources now. I'm eating the chicken. I'm going to send a lot of villagers here after they finish these turkeys towards the mill. Another reason for Incas to be great, you'll also have 100 extra food here from the free llama that you get. And that's basically the idea here. I want to click now as soon as possible to the feudal age, but since we invested, guys, into like 7 militia and we should be delivering all the damage as possible towards our opponent, I'm not expecting that we're going to be able to click anytime soon here. I'm trying to keep at least 14 villagers on the on the food. It's laughable. I'm laughing because I find it so funny, you know. I haven't even done a lumber camp and I'm there killing the guy. I mean, you do nothing, you sacrifice your own economy, but you try to kill your opponent's economy in the process. A good building for you to hit is the house. The reason for that is because the houses have -2 melee armor, so if you can force a group of militias to kill a house, even if your opponent is repairing, he's gonna need like more than 1 villager doing that. I'm about to go there and make LingYuan click up, guys. I think that you can actually improve this build a bit by sending villagers a bit sooner to the chicken to diversify your food even more. You can try to use deers. You can try to steal some resource from your opponent. So there are those small rooms here for improvement. I won't neglect it, but the idea is quite simple. 11 views on food, do the barracks, only later you start investing into the economy. And with this amount of villagers, you need to deliver damage to this guy. We are about to click. We click it. Like population 27, to be honest, from this point, we can even consider going for like a fast castle after doing that. Because of the amount of time we spent on the Dark Age, we just accumulated a lot of villagers, like a lot. So in a real game scenario, our opponent might be actually ready here, guys, to play with units such as archers, such as scouts. Actually archers, I don't think he will be handling making scouts in a map like that. After delivering this amount of damage, but you already need to consider which unit you are going to transition, and this is going to be very unique. Each game is going to have there's no right answer. Each game will have a situation that you are going to have to adapt yourself to. Do you want to play like double ranges? Do you want to go for like a fast castle? What do you want to do as the follow-up? For example, if I want to play right here, I might just want to add skirmishers after doing this men-at-arm and just follow up with like a men-at-arm and skirmisher situation. If I'm doing a good job, I will be keeping these guys alive or delivering damage and keeping my opponent busy. I can also use this extra time to wall my base or do other tasks, but the basics of the build is hitting the guy early on. Let's just make a small follow-up here by going into skirmishers. Since we're going very late, guys, very late to the feudal age, we have already a lot of villagers, but we also have a lot of resources, and for that reason our economy shouldn't be so tight. We should have resources to do pretty much anything we want. For example, if I want to go for like double range, I can go. If I want to add already a blacksmith to go for fletching, I can do it as well. I can go for like double range and archers, for example. Go for the double beat axe, send more villagers towards the gold, and I can play that. You can get even more upgrades because you accumulated a lot of resources, but be aware that you have used most of your food resources, so don't take too long until you start transitioning your economy into a farming eco. It will be very necessary for you to do that. There we go. We can now, for example, play archers. Still hit our opponent, which shouldn't be having an easy time building his own base. He might be having a lot of trouble because of the amount of militias hitting his units. And now we can decide whether to invest our resources to keep up our build. Right here, I'm just going to maximize my farming output number. Remember that I'm already making archers with double range and delivering lots of damage. What is the risk and what are the situations and scenarios where I see this build having a lot of trouble? If your opponent is a good scouter, he did scout and saw that you were doing that, and then he just walls off his villagers on the lumber camp, on the mill, and he just minimizes the amount of damage that you can do to him. This is probably the worst scenario. A guy that's aware of this situation and reacts properly. What are other scenarios here? You might have a scenario of a player that just has a map so good that you are barely finding any opening to hit him. Or you might also be against a civilization that usually makes loom early on. For example, the Chinese, the Mayan, so even the chances of killing a villager against a civilization like that are minimal. Other civilizations, such as the Armenian and Georgians, also use mule carts, so they can evade your attack a bit easily and try to retask to collect wood somewhere else. So that's another risk that you might have to deal with. But that's basically it, guys. I think that we just executed the strategy. The economy after you go towards the next stage runs pretty smooth here because you did advance with a lot of villagers, and all the damage was being done on your opponent's base. Every attacks, every fights were happening out there. So it's very unlikely that this guy had an easy time if you did your job. So you also, while he was struggling with keeping his economy going on, you were actually developing yours and without having any kind of challenge. So right now, there it is. This is the situation that we are finding ourselves into. We can just follow up into a feudal age game. We can try to fully wall ourselves and perhaps even use the market to make a follow-up into a fast castle. There are many options for that. So it's basically a Dark Age rush, but the biggest difference here is that we are sacrificing our economy even more, but in order to get a better timing and hitting this guy very early on. So that's the idea. I hope you guys enjoy it. That's the Pre-Lumbercamp Drush. I actually recommend a lot of practice because there are very high chances that you ended up idling anything on your eco while trying to do that. So you need a lot of practice to execute that build. That's actually one of the hardest builds regarding management. You already need both army and villager management since villager number 12. So it's actually a lot, takes a lot to execute, but I actually recommend you guys to try it out, practice, find your own difficulties. Perhaps you have a different perception from me. Perhaps you said, hey Stark, I just executed that and it's pretty good, or Stark, I tried to do that, I just fucked up my own economy and I did no damage at all at my opponent. So share your experience with me, and I hope you like it, and I hope you go and subscribe on this channel. So like the video, subscribe to the channel, and that was it.